Hello there, my name's Anna Lundberg and I'm the founder of One Step Outside, where we help people around the world build a business and create a lifestyle that brings them more freedom, flexibility and fulfilment. And these past few weeks, we've been talking about building a business alongside your work, so building a so-called side hustle. And the last couple of sessions, we've looked at what to do when you have no idea what business to start and how you can leverage your existing skills. So if you've missed those videos, then do check those out over the last couple of weeks. However, what if you have the opposite problem? What if you have a lot of different ideas and you just can't decide which one is going to work best, which one will fit for you, which one to focus on? Well, of course, this is a good problem to have, but you will want to prioritise, filter and identify where you're going to be focusing your limited time and energy for the maximum reward. So the first tip I want to give you when you have too many business ideas is, as always, going to be define success. So you want to define the parameters, the criteria that this particular business idea needs to tick for you in order for it to work. So is it a question of being able to be location independent, to work flexible hours? Do you want to work with individuals? Or do you want to work with organisations? Do you want to work one-on-one in sort of an intimate setting? Or do you want to work one-to-many? Do you want to work online or in person and so on? So what are the personal and professional parameters within which this business idea needs to work in order for it to bring you what you want it to? So those criteria are going to help you to filter all your ideas through the lens of what you need this particular idea or this business to fulfill for you, both in the short term as you're building it alongside your full-time job and also potentially in the long term if it's going to become something bigger. So number one is define success. Number two is to evaluate the reward versus effort ratio. So let me explain this a bit more. So if you imagine the place you want to be really is that you want to get the maximum output, the maximum reward for the minimum effort. Not because we're lazy, but we do have a limited amount of time. We want to make sure that we get some quick wins. So sort of the perfect place to be is that you're putting in a low amount of effort, or you don't have to do anything too sort of time consuming, too expensive in order to get the reward. So that's really the quick win, something that requires a little bit of work and will bring you either maybe the high ticket items that will bring you a lot of money or some other advantage, some other significant rewards. The second place you want to be focusing is where, yes, you do need to put more time and energy into something, but it is still going to bring a significant reward. So this is where you want to be planning for the long term. It might be building a brand, an online presence, those kinds of things that will take time, but will definitely pay out in the longer term. Where you don't want to be focusing your energy is in the area where you're putting a lot of time and effort and money into something that has a very uncertain or even unexpected, unlikely output that's going to come. And the final sort of quadrant, if you imagine these being four quadrants with effort versus reward, would be low effort and low output, which, if you have a lot of time on your hands, it's sort of a quick thing to do, fine, but that's not really going to bring you the results that you're looking for. So you might want to try filtering your business ideas through this reward versus effort ratio and really go for the places where you're going to be getting the biggest output, the biggest reward and impact. And then finally, you want to actually validate your idea. I think one of the biggest mistakes we make when we put a business idea out is that we think it's going to be the next Uber or Airbnb or whatever it is, and we haven't actually tested it in the market. We haven't actually validated it and talked to people and so on. So the first thing to do there is to talk to your potential clients and customers to really understand, is this a need? Is this a problem that they have, that they urgently need fixing? And most importantly, are they willing to pay for that problem or need to be addressed and fulfilled? You might want to talk to some experts. So hopefully you're an expert in this area because you've come up with this business idea. Probably you know what you're talking about because that's going to really help you to set up a successful business. But it may be that you want to liaise with some other people in the industry, understand the restraints, the restrictions, the feasibility of your idea if it's something that you're a little bit less familiar with. And then the final thing, the best thing to do is just to put something out there. We talk about the MVP, the minimum viable product these days, and really as much as you can ask someone if they would pay for something, you'll never really know until you put it out there and actually ask for the sale. So as soon as possible, you want to put something real out there, whether it's a product or a service, put up a simple website, ask people if they'll buy, and then you'll really sort of get to grips with if it's going to be a workable option or not. If if you hear crickets, as they say, then maybe it's not as revolutionary and amazing in the form that it is in at the moment. So those are my 3 tips for you if you have too many business ideas. Number 1, define success. Number 2, check out that effort versus reward ratio. And number 3, test it out. Now, I also want to remind you that I have my book coming out on the 3rd of October, Leaving the Corporate 9 to 5, stories from people who've done it and how you can too. And that's full of inspirational stories and also concrete tips and guidance. So if you'd like to sign up for the waiting list, you can do that at leavingthecorporate9to5.com. That's leavingthecorporate9to5.com. And that's coming out very, very soon. So I hope you found this video interesting and useful, and I look forward to seeing you very soon. Bye for now.